Alright, so going to be doing a comic review, another book sent to me by my good friend Chris. Chris, thank you once again. And today we're going to be talking about Green Lantern Back in Action. This is a comic that Chris sent to me a little while back. I've been meaning to get to this one, and again, I've been kind of saving up the DC books, and I'm glad I finally sat down and read this because, oh boy, this is really good. This new Green Lantern run, a few things have been spoiled in current comics, so... But I'm going to try my best not to spoil it if you haven't read it already. But yeah. So this is written by... One thing that really got me interested was the fact that Jeremy Adams was going to be taking over for Green Lantern. I really loved his run in The Flash, so I was really excited to see what he'd do with Green Lantern. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. And we also have... I'm never going to be able to pronounce his name. Zermancinco? He goes by one word. And that artwork is amazing. We'll get to that later. But this comic, there's a lot of stuff that happens in here. But essentially, to catch up, the Green Lantern Corps has been disbanded and reformed under what is now known the United Planets, which is a culmination of several worlds. They've been fucking around. It's one of the things Bendis came up with, and now everyone's just stuck with working on until they can eventually get rid of it, which I imagine will be soon at some point. But the United Planets have been nothing short of just dicks, and they were a big part of what happened in the Superman Warworld saga. They were also in the Green Lantern War Journal comic, and they play a big part here because, again, the Green Lantern Corps we know has been disbanded and reformed under a bunch of people who are just a bunch of assholes who see the ring as more like a symbol of nobility, and not a nobility, but like they see it more like a toy, and it's more to like people who like, oh yeah, you're a nobleman's son. Here, you get a ring. Go hurt some people for us. So Hal is back on Earth, and more specifically, he's back in Coast City, trying to get with Carol, who her and him are having some outs. Not to go too deep into it, and Hal is just trying to rebuild his life. When one night he finds out that he got a new ring formed after a fight with someone in a Manhunter armor, leading to Hal becoming a hero in Coast City once more, not doing cosmic adventures anymore, because this ring is stuck to Earth because there's something wrong with the emotional spectrum, and we'll get to more of that later. What I like about this comic is that it really does feel like it's a classic animated show, and it's really fun to see like Hal hasn't been on Earth since the start of Jeff Johns' run, where he's just kind of bebopping across the planet, across Earth, and then came like a cosmic story later on. So the whole thing with I really do like that Hal's back in his home city, which is something you don't really see a lot of. You really don't see a lot of Hal back on, Hal adventures on Earth, which I imagine will probably change or has already changed at some point. The artwork in here is astonishing, by the way, by Zermancinco, who does some phenomenal work here and there. And by here and there, I mean like fucking everywhere. Just every page, especially like these splash pages. Let me give you a good one to look at, because there's some just solid, holy shit, like take your breath away artwork in here. And it's vibrant, it's colorful, it's what you need. I think you need a vibrant and colorful artist, someone who can really give life to those constructs in a Green Lantern story. So the big thing, aside from Hal getting, putting his life back together, is that this whole main story arc is him and Sinestro are on a collision course. Sinestro has lost his ring. He's no longer the leader of the Sinestro Corps, and he's now trying to get his power back so he can go back to his homeworld of Korugar. On top of that, there's also an alien on Earth who's selling alien technology to villains. Who that could be, they've made a few hints. I got this feeling because I've kind of learned that Jeremy Adams really loves classic characters, much like Jed McKay. I'm going to say it's Kanjar-O. I'm going to say the person behind selling the alien tech is Kanjar-O. It makes too much goddamn sense that it's Kanjar-O. Again, the main conflict is Sinestro and Hal on a collision course, And by the end of it, like the fight at the end of this story arc between Hal and Sinestro is on par with like a Dragon Ball Z fight. Like, it is almost like watching Goku and Vegeta fight. Like, it actually reminded me a lot of like the Goku. For some reason, I don't know. Maybe it's just me how my stupid brain works. Is that it reminded me a lot of the Goku Majin Vegeta fight from the Buu Saga. Remember that one? And there's a specific reason for that. Sinestro gets a Red Lantern ring. He's now a Red Lantern in the comics. Because he was filled with so much rage, which I'm like, that doesn't feel like they've bent the rules just so like Sinestro can have a red ring, because the whole thing was originally it was supposed to be righteous rage, not just I'm angry. But maybe they could say like I was trying to get back to Korugar and it was a righteous thing, something like that. Maybe they can finagle with the deals with the problem there. There also in this comic we deal with with a tie-in of Night Terrors where Hal combats the villain Insomnia and all the nightmares he's dealt with. But it makes sense because like Hal has faced all these nightmares before, and he's just like, and even Insomnia's like, out of every superhero, you're the hardest to like pin down. Like, I've tried so many nightmares, and he's like, dude, I have lived so many nightmares, and I don't know if you know this, Green Lantern doesn't feel fear. There's also the other tie-in that involves Sinestro as well, so I really like that. This comic is a solid new take on the Green Lanterns. I've been keeping up in trade. I do know that like there's this upcoming Green Lantern event called the Green Lantern Civil War. But yeah, this comic, while it does have to do a lot of jump rope, and keep in mind jump rope with to catch you up on what's going on, because there was a lot of Green Lantern stuff that nobody read. This is the first time I've read in a long time this and the Green Lantern War Journal comic that I've read like a solid Green Lantern story, and I'm really excited to see the second volume come out. Which is the problem with DC books, is that their trades take a while to get out. But yeah, this is a solid start to the run. Also, I'm not going to spoil who it is, but at the end of the story, a character from Green Lantern, but not from the comics, makes his debut in the DC canon. That's all I need to say, right? I think we can all figure out who that is. But anyway, once again, Chris, thank you so much for the book. I highly recommend checking out this comic if you haven't already. And other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.